Hey y'all, it's Chris here with Rockin Farm. We have a rule in our house that you're supposed to change out of your school clothes before you come out and start doing stuff on the farm. So when my wife sees this, there's a pretty good chance I'm gonna get yelled at for being out here in my pearl snap and my nice jeans crawling around with the pigs. But I promised y'all I'd get you some more videos, so I'm doing what I gotta do. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and go check out our website, rockin8farm.com. So the video I posted last week, it generated quite a few questions about these pig huts behind me. Now, I do not have time to build a pig hut while I'm filming for y'all, but I think I can explain these pig huts pretty well and pretty easily. So these pig huts start out with the fact that for once in my life, I got lucky. And I joke about that a little. It's not like I have nothing but bad luck, but we have said many, many times that the only luck a Leahy has is bad luck. But I had some good luck in this particular situation. A farmer buddy of mine, and he's one of those guys that has all the connections, all the hookups, knows everybody. He's the first person people call whenever they have anything they want to get rid of. He got his hands on a whole bunch of trusses from one of these like tough shed places. And he ended up having no use for them. And when my wife went out to buy some fresh vegetables off of him, she saw them and thought, you know what, my husband can probably use those. So the guy said, yeah, go ahead and come on out and get them. So I got all of these trusses for the same price that he paid for them, which was absolutely nothing. So obviously not everybody has the truss hookup, but I honestly think if you wanted to, it's not that tough to build the shape. Now these trusses from that point to that point are 8 feet. So this is an 8-foot wide shelter. Roughly 12 feet of 2x4 in there. So if you don't have a truss hookup, you can probably still get yourself 6 of these nail-on brackets and about 12 feet of 2x4. And I'm sure somewhere online they give you the right cuts to get this shape. And you could make some for yourself. Me personally, I've got enough trusses where I can build a whole lot of pig shelters and probably build some pig shelters for other people as well. Now I also have a bunch of these kind of straight trusses, which what this does for me is it negates my need to go buy 8-foot 2x4s to tie the trusses together. I just make a cut at the top there and cut that bracket out, and now I've got two, roughly 6-foot lengths of 2x4, and I can cut and apply as needed. So now we'll wander back over to one of the pig huts. I will probably go in with the piglets because they won't want much to do with me, so hopefully I'll be able to get in there and show you this pig hut without getting too filthy. All right, y'all, so here is the pig hut in question, and let me kind of get down here a little. You can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trusses. They're roughly 2 feet apart. And then there is a 2x4 at the bottom and a 2x4 brace on each side. And if you look at this 2x4 brace up here, you're actually going to see that what it is it's a 5-foot piece of 2x4 and a 3-foot piece of 2x4 that are spliced together with about a 2-foot piece of 2x4. So 5 trusses, and then, obviously, if you just went to Home Depot and bought 8-foot 2x4s, you wouldn't be splicing these together. So 5 trusses and 4 8-foot 2x4s, and then the metal on top is what makes up the structure. And then I just grabbed some scrap plywood that I had. It's literally whatever I have. The purpose of this is to create a windbreak. All of these pig huts are up here in what we explained to you last week is called our weaning area. So Sal's farrow in the barn, where we've got the creep bumper boards and creep areas and heat lamps and fans. Once the piglets are a couple of weeks old and they're getting out of that danger zone of being laid on, and they're starting to venture outside, and they're spending time outside when it's cold anyhow. Once the piglets get to a place where they're just really comfortable and doing their own thing, then we can move pigs and their piglets out here to our weaning areas. So While A-frame shelters, I believe, are better for actually farrowing in, because the angles of the A-frame kind of create that creep area down near the ground. The sow's back, when it butts up against the side, there's still a gap in there where a piglet can be laying and not get crushed by mom. By the time we come out here, we're not as worried about it. It takes 6 sheets of this 8-foot long roofing. And if I had 10-foot long roofing, these would be 10 feet. If I had 12-foot long roofing, these would probably be 12 feet. So I would just add more trusses depending on the length of the metal. But it takes 6 sheets to wrap all the way around. So screws aren't cheap, and sheet metal screws aren't necessarily cheap, but that's basically all the money that I personally have into these. Like I said, if you had to build the trusses yourself and build this shape yourself, then obviously you're going to be into it for more money. But I didn't get asked how much these cost. I got asked how did I build them, and the way I built them is with pre-formed trusses and 2x4s and sheet metal. One thing I would probably do if I lived in a much colder environment than here is there would be a 2x4 running from there to there and a 2x4 running from there to there and one going across the bottom. And then I could slap a sheet of plywood there, slap a sheet of plywood there, have that nice little opening in the middle that they could go in and out of. So I know this is a short video, y'all, but it's answering some questions that were generated from my last video, giving you a better look at this shelter. I'm sure sometime in the very near future, I'm going to be building another one of these, and maybe we can get the camera up and just set it up somewhere while I'm building it, and you can kind of get an idea. But like I said, the building of it's not rocket science, y'all. I mean, you can just look at the structure and know how I built it. People want to know the how, and I think really the how is the trusses. You know, how did I get this shape? I have preformed trusses. If you have any more questions about what I'm going to call the D-frame shelter, just go ahead and reach out. Drop them down in the comment section or rockin8farm@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Till I see y'all again, this has been Chris with Rockin8 Farm. Please be happy and live healthy.